Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andriy Shevchenko, and on behalf of the team of Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform, I want to thank all the journalists who tell the world about our fight for freedom. This time we're talking with Andriy Vitrenko, First Deputy of Education and Science of Ukraine. Mr. Andriy, good afternoon. Could you please tell us what's the summary? How did Ukraine finish the first semester of this educational year? Good afternoon, glory to Ukraine. I would like to say that we are in touch with all of our education workers, and Ukraine is the only country in the history of the world which did not stop the education process during the active phase of the warfare in their territory. As to the statistics, currently we have some damage and destruction in educational infrastructure. More than 2,600 educational institution buildings are damaged and 406 are destroyed to the ground. Currently 12,902 schools operate in the territory under control of Ukrainian government. Around 516,000 children of the school age currently stay outside Ukraine, mostly in the countries of the European Union. More than 100,000 kids return to Ukraine to join the Ukrainian education system. About 95,000 school children are still in the occupied territories. 4,697 schools work in online mode, and 8,205 schools operate in a mixed mode, I mean both online and offline. This is the summary of the first semester. Mr. Andriy, how was the number of the school children, of the students in Ukrainian schools was influenced by the missile attacks on the energy infrastructure by Russian Federation? Obviously, the negative influence of these missile attacks that we survived today in the morning, thanks to our armed forces and air defense forces, we don't have some significant losses or damage today. The situation with the power shutdowns makes the education workers react promptly and relevantly. There are no simple solutions, but the ministry recommends the education workers to transform the education process. It should be convenient for both teachers and students. That's why we recommend to study in a mixed mode. We recommend to start the education process during the daytime, but that's upon the decision of the management of the school. If we have questions in the studio, good afternoon, Yulia Gadiana, Ukrinform. What's the situation with the printing of the training books for 5th grade? And what's the plan for the students of the 6th grade, which are about to study under Ukrainian school training program, school education program? With the help of our European partners, we printed the mathematics training books, and we prepared the issue of the Ukrainian language training book. Last week, the Embassy of Finland, in compliance with the program of support of the European of Ukrainian books, they allocated another $1,005,000 for printing of the training books, and next year we plan to issue the books for the 6th grade, and the bid is still in progress in view of the martial law. Thanks a lot. And in continuation of the new Ukrainian school program, the budget for the next year envisages the shortening of the allocation of funds for education. Thank you for this question. I want to reassure all my colleagues and parents and students that the reform under the program of new Ukrainian school is not threatened by anything. The reform will be in progress and they will be functioning in Ukraine. We developed new training program, and the new program for the 6th grade will continue, and the reform will continue, and it's not about to be wrapped up. What are the opportunities for Ukrainian students who ended up abroad? How can they continue their education with Ukrainian schools? The children who are currently abroad, there are a couple of models developed for them. The first model is obviously, well, you have to understand that in many countries of the European Union, attending school is mandatory in compliance with the law of this or that country. So the students have to attend school in the country they stay at, but in order not to lose connection with the Ukrainian national education system, we recommend such children that they attend their school or any other school online upon the application of their parents. So we recommend to attend the lectures of Ukrainian literature, Ukrainian language and history of Ukraine, because those subjects are not being learned abroad, and when our children come back we would not be able to reaccept them automatically. All the other subjects will be accepted automatically. There is an external form of education with no limitation for our children still in place. The children are being accepted there upon the application of their parents again and again. There is an online education that we have more than 100,000 members registered on. I want to say that all the training books for 5th grade, they are posted in the website of the Institute of Modernization of Education. So the Institute of Education did everything they could. They took all necessary efforts so that neither our kids nor their parents lose connection with the education system of Ukraine. We understand that now the Ministry of Education works on the process for entering higher educational institutions for our school graduates, and there are different options being considered. What are your comments for the future school graduates or those who graduated last year and who are about to enter the higher educational institution? Thank you. That's a very good question. The conditions for entering the higher educational institutions are currently under negotiation with the community, with the civil society. Those conditions are posted on our website and we will present them soon to the society, but it depends mostly on the Parliament of Ukraine. The draft law is currently in there, which regards the process of examination for the year 2022. But the ministry is preparing itself for any scenario and for the independent evaluation and the national evaluation process as well. I would like to wish those kids who are preparing to enter the higher educational institution, don't worry, don't get concerned, just keep learning, keep getting new skills, knowledge and experience that will help you to enter that educational institution you plan to enter to. What option is gonna be optimal? How the graduates can rely on using the results of the independent evaluation. The plan that is currently under consideration, it contemplates that the results of the independent evaluation of the year 2021 may be used there as well as for examination year 2022. I think that the best option will be the one recommended by Cabinet of Ministers that they submitted to the Parliament, and I think it's most optimal, though the one that we consider, that we negotiate with the civil society now. The last question of mine, like many schools and other educational institutions turned into their resilience stations recently, obviously it's an additional load on both teachers and the collectives of the schools and universities. Can you give us a few comments on this process? What does it mean for our education system, this additional load? I would say it's a asterisk mark task. Thank you for this question. The resilience stations are deployed as a network across the educational institutions, which will help Ukraine in case of another terroristic attacks by the Katsabs to survive this difficult winter and the situation. And the task set for the education system is the stability of education system, the resilience of education system, and it demonstrates that the education workers are the fundamental for the proper functioning of Ukrainian nation. Obviously, it's our first experience, and we have complications and we have difficulties in going through this process. The resilience stations are deployed in a number of schools and higher educational institutions and high schools. For what I know, the responsibility is put on the local governments, and this is why me, as the representative of the central government, we are concerned with these type of problems, and we're sure that the vast majority of the education workers fulfill this task in a proper and courageous manner. And we have one question in the studio, and I think it will be the last one. Regarding the budget as well for the year 2022, the state budget contemplates the allocation for the outfitting of safety stations in the educational institutions. What will this money be spent on? Yes, thank you for this question. This is the new subversion. More than 1 billion hryvnia for outfitting of the safe spaces in the schools. We communicate with the people's deputies and the government about how to use those money. Our proposal is to outfit the shelters of the high quality shelters, to expand the spaces in the educational institutions so that all the education workers and the students could feel themselves safe in case of air raid alert. Thank you. Andriy Vitrenko, First Deputy Minister of Education and Science. Thank you for this conversation, and we call everybody to follow our announcements. Stand with Ukraine.